Menus are the main way users navigate through iPhone applications. Learning to style them is a great way to practice some of the skills we've already learned. So let's go ahead and make this list, a normal menu-like list, look like an iPhone application. First off, we're going to redefine the body tag. I'm zeroing out the margin here and the padding and setting up a default font for this page. Next, I'm going to set a background image that looks a little bit more like a normal iPhone application. So you can see this looks a little bit more like what a normal application background would be. Okay, now we need to redefine this first headline tag to make it look more like a little menu that would appear at the top of an application. So here I've made the font size a little bigger, cleared out the margins that normally appear on a heading 1 tag, and set up a border underneath the menu, and also align the text. I'm going to add a background image. And I'll set it up as a gradient. It'll be a vertical gradient from the top left to the bottom left. So you can see this looks more like a traditional menu. It's a little bit thin, so we'll fix that in a minute. What we want to do is make sure this entire menu is clickable. Normally, when you roll over a link, only the text within the link is clickable. If you move over to the left or to the right of this link, you'll see that my mouse changes to a pointer, which means that area is not clickable. So we're going to fix that. To do that, we're going to change the display type to block. What that does is it makes the entire bar clickable. And I've made some other style changes here to make this a little more like a traditional menu. So I've made it a little taller, just a different font, and added some padding. Finally, I'm going to add a little bit of a drop shadow here to make it look more like an embossed menu. I'm going to go actually back to the H1 tag. You can see that now this font has a little bit of a white key line to the right bottom, and it makes it look more like an embossed font. I want to work on the navigation area. So each one of these lists is a navigation area, and we're going to right now work with each one of these segments. So here I cleared out some of the padding, made sure that I undid the list style, which normally makes the list have bullets, and made the margins a little bit different. I'm going to change the background color to a white, but it's going to be a slightly transparent white. So I'm using the RGBA color mode here to make sure that the background is 70% opaque. You can see a little bit of the lines coming through that white. I'm going to add a border. So a slight white border around the entire list. And now we'll use the WebKit border radius to add a little bit of a curve to each one of these lists. All right, now I'm going to add an inset box shadow. So you can see there's a little bit of a shadow inside these elements. And now finally, we have to work on the spacing and some of these links to make them clickable through their entire width. Text decoration none gets rid of the underlines on normal clickable links. And now we're going to add a border at the bottom of each element and also at the top. This creates a slightly embossed effect for each one of these list elements. Now you may notice a little problem. At the very top and the bottom of these list elements, we have each one of these line items showing one of the little border lines here. So we need to get rid of those. To do that, we're going to use pseudo class selectors. The first child will pick up the first top of each one of these lists. We'll clear out the border there. You can see it disappeared from each top of these lists. And we'll do the same thing for the bottom. Except obviously it'll be the last child. And now we cleared out the bottom of each one of those lists. So now our menu is looking pretty much like what an iPhone app menu would look like. It's very easy to do, and we used a lot of the tools that we've done in previous chapters.